From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Homegrown Music of America concert series. I'm Peggy Bulger. I'm director of the American Folklife Center, and we welcome you to this celebration of every month we feature a group of musicians and dancers from around the country that exemplify the very best of traditional music and dance at the turn of the 21st century, as I say. These concerts are being recorded for our archive, and we're hoping that, you know, at the turn of the 22nd century, people will be amazed at the kinds of creativity and artistry that was going on in America at this time. So since this is being recorded, I just want to remind you to please turn off your cell phones so that you won't be immortalized for another century with your ringtone. We are very pleased that this series is co-sponsored by the Millennium Stage at the Kennedy Center. And so if you like what you hear today, I want to encourage you and tell your friends to go over at 6 o'clock tonight at the Kennedy Center on the Millennium Stage. Our group will be performing there also. And so in this way, we really try to, I guess, feature our musicians in more than one venue in the DC area, since usually they travel from quite far away. Today, we're really, really happy to have French-Canadian music from Connecticut, from New England, which is a hotbed of music. As many of you know, you might have known that old-time music and French-Canadian music has a long and illustrious history in that area. We have a special group that will be not only performing music, we'll also have some step dancing, and so it's a very unique form of dancing. It's related to many of the other stepping dance forms, but still has its own flavor. We at the American Folklife Center actually have several collections already that feature French-Canadian and Franco-American music. In fact, we have copies of recordings that were made by the famous anthropologist Marius Barbeau at the turn of the 20th century on wax cylinders and on disc recordings. We have wonderful Acadian music recordings by Helen Crichton and Laura Bolton, who are also renowned anthropologists and folklorists. And then we have more recent recordings that have been made in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and Wisconsin, all of French-Canadian and/or Franco-American music. And this concert today will be a wonderful addition to our collections because it features New England French-Canadian music. But in order to introduce the musicians and the tradition to you, I want to welcome to the stage Lynn Williamson, who is the state folklorist of Connecticut, and she works for the Connecticut Cultural Heritage Arts Program. So please help me welcome Lynn.
It's really great to be back here again, and thank you very much, Peggy. For the last 18 years, it's been my job and my joy to locate, document, and assist the wonderful traditional artists of Connecticut. Among my very favorite artists is fiddler Daniel Boucher from the very large French-Canadian community in Bristol, Connecticut. I first heard Daniel play in 1998 when he was just 18 years old, but it was clear that he had a virtuosity and a love for the music that promised a great future. Daniel lives and breathes his heritage. He has put a spark into the French-Canadian community and music in Connecticut by organizing very popular fiddle jams and community celebrations that bring together musicians from all over New England. Today, he's here with friends Ray Pelletier, George Wilson, and Glenn Bombardier to offer you a French-Canadian soiree in the afternoon. Please welcome Daniel Boucher and friends.
Bonjour, comment ça va? Boy, well, it's all thanks to Lynn Williamson that we are here today. She's helped me out a lot over the years, getting all these grants from the state of Connecticut that have made me connect with a lot of very good people, very nice people, very talented people. So thank you, Lynn Williamson, for this opportunity, and we are all honored to be here today. So thank you. All right. Well, we're going to start off with Isidore's Reel. Isidore's Reel comes from, for me, a lot of musicians have played this, but for me, it comes from recordings that I grew up listening that were my father's. My father's also a harmonica player and accordion player, and he had a small collection that I used to go into when he left the house so I can amuse myself and listen to some really good music. So this comes from a Tiblan Richard recording from up in Canada, Isidore's Reel. One, two, three, four. Thank you very much. Well, this is another tune. Our next tune that we're going to play is called Gaspé Reel. And Gaspé Reel is one of the many standards that all of us have grown up listening to. And over the years, I was introduced to a family that came from Vermont. And they moved around, and a good portion of their life, they situated themselves in Burlington, Vermont. And it's La Famille Beaudoin, the Beaudoin family. And thankfully, next to me here, Monsieur Bombardier is a Beaudoin. He's the grandson of Louis Beaudoin, who was a very well-known fiddle player from Vermont. And actually, in 1976, he was here in Washington playing fiddle for the inauguration of Jimmy Carter. So it's fantastic that Louis hasn't been with us for a very long time, and I'm glad to have Glenn join me here today. This is the way that we're going to play it today is the way from the La Famille Beaudoin, and Gaspé Reel is going to be split with another tune, Money Musk, a portion of that tune in the B part. So there's a little twist to it, Beaudoin style.
I learned these tunes from Glenn's grandfather's records, and I met Louis in 1976 when he was here at the Folklife Festival. That's the only time I've met him, but I'm fortunate to play with their family once in a while. It's a lot of fun. I'm George over here, by the way.
And I'm Glenn. I actually was 6 years old when my grandfather died, so I really didn't get a lot of opportunity to play with him. Actually, I didn't play with him at all. But obviously, he had a huge influence on our family and on everyone here. So.
And that's his fiddle right there.
Yep. Yes, it is. Louis Beaudoin passed away too young in his late 50s in 1980. And that was 3 months before I was born. So obviously, I never get a chance to meet him either. So, but it's fantastic that I came across the family. I grew up with French-Canadian music, and it's fun to be with other families that grew up with music, and his whole family was all in this La Famille Beaudoin. Started off with his father and his uncle, 2 brothers, and then their children, and let's hope that they're grandchildren too, right? There's some grandchildren that are in it, so
Exactly.
it's a really interesting story. So here we go. Money Musk is gonna be 3 or 4?
3.
Okay. Yeah. Monsieur Ray, Gaspé. you very much.
He sweats a lot.
Thank you. That would explain this. All right. Well, I'm going to do a song for you guys. It comes from the collection that my father has from La Famille Soucy, Fernando Soucy. And I'm going to say, I like to do funny songs because I'm a not too serious person and I enjoy laughing and good jokes. And I know that a lot of you guys do as well. This is a song about a man in his travels. A very old song about a man in his travels with a load of whiskey. And he's going down the road with his load of whiskey, and he comes across a road. Comes across on his road a young, beautiful woman. And things magically start happening, obviously. And she would like to kiss him, and he equally accepts her kiss. Time goes on, and they go down the road, and she brings him home to her family, introduces him to everyone, introduces him to her grandfather, and her grandfather afterwards tells her, hey, this might be the one. You might want to ask him to marry you. And so she tried, and she tried, but he wasn't ready, and he ran off in the other direction. And that's the whole story. Huh? How do you like that nice little build-up and then the drop off the cliff? But the interesting part of the song, yeah, that was interesting until it got, well, that's it. Kind of boring. It happens every single time I explain it, but that is the song, literally. So the interesting part of the song is as he's in his travels, he's doing all these sounds with his mouth. And this is a song that I've been doing everywhere. And I'll show you guys this part, and if you feel free to do it while I'm singing, that'd help me as well. These guys are a little shy to join me, so I'll be doing it alone up here. But he's doing 4 sounds with his mouth. And the first sound is the snort of a pig, followed by a hum. So, yeah, it's going to be one of those songs. So let's hope the lights don't show too much here. But, so you have the pig, and then you have, I don't know why every single time I have to do it over, I have to do the whole sequence. I can't remember individually. So, the next one is the sound of a duck. So it's the top of my mouth going, the side of my mouth going, and then the third sound, we're going to leave it as, and this was a friend of mine that helped me put it this way, the sound that happens when we're all sitting at the table and you reach for the ketchup bottle that is near the end, and you're the one that it makes that noise for. Okay? So we're going to pretend it's the ketchup bottle and nothing else. Okay? So, okay. All eyes are on you, and you swear it was that ketchup bottle, so you hope it was that ketchup bottle. And the last one is the sound of a bird. So, just like that. So, and a lot of people think it's difficult, but it's as simple as that, those 4 sounds. So now you know it, so I want to hear you guys. So here we go. En revenant de Rigaud, coming back from Rigaud. Ah, c'est en revenant de Rigaud. Joli de l'eau, c'est en revenant de Rigaud. C'est en revenant de Rigaud. Avec une charge avec une charge de whisky. Yodi de lait avec une charge de whisky. Avec une charge de whisky. Dans mon chemin j'ai rencontré. Yodi de lait dans mon chemin j'ai rencontré. Dans mon chemin j'ai rencontré une jolie demoiselle au guet. Yodi de lait, une jolie demoiselle au guet. Une jolie demoiselle au guet. Elle me demandait pour l'embrasser. Yodi de lait, elle me demandait pour l'embrasser. Elle me demandait pour l'embrasser. Vous comprenez, je l'ai pas fusé. Yodidele, vous comprenez, je l'ai pas fusé. Vous comprenez, je l'ai pas fusé. À son grand-père me présenter. Yodidele, à son grand-père me présenter. À son grand-père me présenter. Il me demandait de l'épouser. Yodidele, il me demandait de l'épouser. Il me demandait de l'épouser. Ou quand dit dans ce cas-là, m'en aller. Yodidele, dans ce cas-là, m'en aller. Dis dans ce cas-là, m'en aller. Voici la fin de ma chanson. Yodidele, voici la fin de ma chanson. Voici la fin de ma chanson. Thank you. For those in the front row, we forgot to put up the plastic like a Gallagher show there. I hope it wasn't too bad. All right. So growing up in Bristol, Connecticut, that's where I was born and raised, I had first joined, I've been growing up playing music with my father. I played spoons first, and then from that I moved on to learning fiddle. At the age of 12, I had joined a local folk orchestra, which was the Connecticut Bristol Old Time Fiddlers. And a lot of good musicians together performances all over the state of Connecticut. So, and that's where my father decided we'll join them. A little after that, we met someone in there, a fiddler, who was becoming a fiddle teacher, and that's where I started playing fiddle. And way back then is when I met Ray. We've known Ray Pelletier for quite some time, and he too has an interesting story. He comes from a family of musicians, siblings. His father was a fiddle player. He was in the Bristol Old Time Fiddlers. I remember him. He's since passed, but a phenomenal fiddle player. And did you have uncles who played as well? And how about your grandfather?
Grandfather, uncles, a lot of the whole family played just about, except my mom.
Except your mom. She had to put up with everybody else, right? But she sang. His parents sang as well. Complaints, what they called up in French, the sad songs or mournful songs, I suppose. And he shared wonderful recordings with me of his parents. And with the help of technology, I've updated his recordings of that for him. So now he has it so he can give to his kids and grandchildren. So I'm glad to have met Ray. And ever since, not only with the Bristol Old Time Fiddlers, but on the side, my father and I and Ray have played music a lot of places. So, and again today. And it was my honor to have him with us today. So we're going to let Ray do a tune, Boil Them Cabbages Down.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that, it's very nice. Now I'm going to play a tune that my father did. He was working, he was out in the field, and he was humming something in his head. And he came home, picked up his fiddle, and played it. And nobody else that I know plays it. And because we live in a little place that was called Michigan, he called it the Michigan Reel. In the key of D. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. It's a very fun tune. It's a very fun tune that I've gotten a chance to learn from Ray. So I thought it was special that we played today. All right. Next is a tune that I've composed. Oh, is that you, George?
That was my, yeah, I kicked my foot mic. It's a foot mic, I guess that's what you do.
This tune is called La Marionnette. I called it the Marionette because to me it sounded as if a little marionette was dancing. And mathematically, for those who really know their music, it's actually a very interesting piece. And someone else had to discover that for me because all I do is pick up my fiddle and play. And I was noodling and I came up with this tune. And it's interesting that the measures are different. Different lengths. Thank you.
Highly technical term, I guess. That was the best I could do.
Yes, different lengths. But then at the end, it comes to the length and timing that it should be.
Yeah, right.
Something
yeah,
like that. I
like
told
30,
you.
Yeah, like 32 measures.
I told you. All I did was pick up my fiddle and come up with this tune. And somebody else who was a lot more patient than me found out exactly what was going on. So it's a very special tune, La Marionnette. count yourself fortunate that you guys stayed dry. All right. The foot tapping. Is anybody familiar with French Canadian folk music here today? A little bit, yes? Oh, a good show of hands. The foot tapping that we do just comes from tradition. A lot of the musicians were simple workers in their everyday life, carpenters, this and that, and lumberjacks, and they would go off in the wintertime and go to the camps, the logging camps, and bring their instruments with them, do a long day of work, and then at night it was party time. At night it was take out the instruments, let's have some fun, and there weren't any drummers like modern bands. So the foot tapping from the Canadians, it's not just, keeping your beat. It's kind of like a horse galloping. And that's how they did it. That's how, when they had to play just alone, they would keep their beat with that. And there's variations, all sorts of different combinations, and there's also clogging for jigs. And so I just thought I'd share that with you guys if you guys were curious as to what we're doing with our feet and the importance of that. It's part of tradition, and it's a lot of fun. It's a cardio exercise as well. Very good for your external and internal obliques, and it does sweating ensues, so it's good all around. All right. Well, a lot of fiddlers I grew up with like to play fast stuff, and it's very rare for your average fiddle player to do waltzes. So I didn't grow up with many waltzes myself, and what happens is you enjoy playing the fast stuff, and you don't sound so good when you start playing slow stuff, so you shy away from it and you just do what you're good at, right? And we all do the same thing. So, but we have a waltz for you guys today, and this is a waltz that I had learned from collections of my own called the Unknown Waltz. And as far as the artist, it might be Sinois Joyal, something like that, Sinois Joyal. What a name, right? The Unknown Waltz.
That's what it's known as.
That's what it's known as. I learned over the years when I started composing stuff that I thought there was a whole technique to naming tunes. And you hear all these tunes, and Michigan Reel, and Saint-Anne's Reel will be playing later, and St. Antoine's, and this and that. And when I started composing my own, in my head I knew, oh yeah, that one, and that one, that one. And people was, what is that? What is that? And I don't know, I gave up thinking that there was a whole theory behind naming names, because it really wasn't important. You just gave it something to remember. And I've got
catalog number.
Yeah, this is number 3004. But I've got stuff, organic beef reel, and mashed potato reel, and that's because that's what was for dinner that night, so when I was composing in my kitchen. So Unknown Waltz isn't that far off. That's a good enough name for it. good segue into the next tune. One of my compositions that I call Surprise Reel, Reel de la Surprise. It sounds so much better when it's in French. Huh? Reel de la Surprise. It's so good, beautiful. Huh? Just happened to have an interesting beat part, and I thought I was surprised every single time I got there. So, Surprise Reel. That's good enough to remember. We're gonna roll that with. How impressive is this name? Reel in G.
It's highly descriptive.
With a G chord, and this comes from Glenn's grandfather's repertoire, Reel in G. G golly williker, right?
Gee whiz.
Cheese whiz. Boy, I told you, it's a whole cardio. It's the whole body and there's nothing else missing. All right.
Now you got to get up and sing.
I know, I know. Don't hurt yourself. I know, just stretching out my legs here. Here's a song that I learned as I joined La Famille Beaudoin up in Vermont. And this is actually a song that Glenn's mother and actually, all of Glenn's aunts. Louis Beaudoin had 5 girls. 5 girls, and 1 bathroom, I think.
Yeah.
That poor guy.
Poor guy, test of patience. I don't think that'd fly today in 2011, but 5 girls, wow. So they're all musicians. And Glenn's mother and one of his aunts, Nina, Carmen and Nina, usually sang this. And it actually comes from Louis Beaudoin. Louis used to sing this to his children, right, to the girls?
That is correct.
And it's a story, the name is called La Boiteuse. And I asked permission to sing this today, and they gave me the big stamp of approval, and they're honored to have me sing this. It's something, yes, the big forever stamp of approval. And it's a very funny song, and it's called La Boiteuse, which is, it's a woman, La Boiteuse, who limps. So she limps. She's got one leg shorter than the other. And she's going to the market, and she has a basket on her head, and when she goes to the market, she picks up an item. She first picks up an egg, and she puts it in her basket. And then she's limping to the next vendor, and she goes and gets a chicken. And she grabs a chicken, a live chicken, puts it on her basket. Then she goes a little bit farther, and she picks up a cat. She's not eating all of these. Obviously, she's not eating the cat. She's going to probably do something with the chicken and cook the egg, but the cat she's just going to use as a companion. She puts that in her basket, and she goes down the road a little bit more, and she picks up a dog, puts that on there. You can imagine it's not a small basket. And the last item that she picks up, she takes a whole cow, and she puts it right on top of all the rest of them, and you can't see them all. So, and you'll hear the different sounds as we get to the different animals. Like I said, I like funny songs, so. Oh, c'était une boiteuse qui s'en allait au marché. Elle portait sur sa tête un œuf dans son panier. L'œuf s'en va rouler, roulant. Boiteuse pas derrière et boiteuse pas devant. Boiteuse pas derrière et boiteuse pas devant. Brum, pum, pum, brum, pum, pum. C'était une boiteuse qui s'en allait au marché. Elle portait sur sa tête un poule dans son panier. La poule s'en va. Que l'œuf s'en va rouler, roulant. Boiteuse par derrière et boiteuse par devant. Boiteuse par derrière et boiteuse par devant. Brum poum poum, brum poum poum. C'était une boiteuse qui s'en allait au marché. Elle portait sur sa tête un chat dans son panier. Le chat s'en va, miaou miaou miaou. La poule s'en va, que l'œuf s'en va rouler, roulant. Boiteuse par derrière et boiteuse par devant. Boiteuse par derrière et boiteuse par devant. Brum poum poum, brum poum poum. C'était une boiteuse qui s'en allait au marché. Elle portait sur sa tête un chien dans son panier. Le chien s'en va, ouf, ouf, le chat s'en va, miaou, miaou, miaou. La poule s'en va, l'œuf s'en va rouler, roulant. Boiteuse par derrière et boiteuse par devant. Boiteuse par derrière et boiteuse par devant. Brum poum poum, brum poum poum. C'était une boiteuse qui s'en allait au marché. Elle portait sur sa tête un vache dans son panier. La vache s'en va, le chien s'en va, le chat s'en va, la poule s'en va, l'œuf s'en va rouler, roulant. Boiteuse par derrière et boiteuse par devant. Boiteuse par derrière et boiteuse par devant. Brum poum poum, brum poum poum, brum poum poum, bum poum poum, bum poum poum, bum poum poum. Excusez là. So please, feel free to bring those home to your kids and share that with them and give them lots of laughs as well.
Yeah, put them all in your hat and go
Yes.
down there.
Should they go before the cow or I'll hop on top of the cow?
Sure. Okay, here's another tune from Louis Beaudoin.
By the way, hold on one second. Let's put the
Okay.
brakes on this show. Monsieur George Wilson over here. If none of you know him, he's a exceptional fiddle player in many styles, a very good friend of ours, and I'm honored to have him join us today. And if you notice, he's kind of the black sheep there on the left, on your right. He's got a very interesting fiddle, and some of you, if you're musicians, know exactly what that is. At a glance, it kind of looks like the texture of a seat belt. It's actually carbon fiber.
Yep. Yeah, I could play it out in the rain if I wanted to, but it's not raining and I don't want to. So there you have it.
Yes, and you could row a canoe.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could mush vegetables up with it.
You could.
Yeah.
A julienne slicer with the strings.
But I like to just play it like a fiddle myself.
Very beautiful instrument, loud sounding, fairly affordable, and
Somewhat affordable.
somewhat
yeah.
affordable.
It depends.
You kind of have to sell a child of yours to get. No, just it's not that bad. But it's
Just
always
sell your cat.
sell your cat. There you go. There you go. So carbon fiber fiddle.
Yep.
This is going to be the grand chain, la grande chaîne, which is actually a dance move. If anybody contra dances, la grande chaîne is when they do a full circle and you do a left hook and a right hook and a left hook and a right hook as they work their way around. And if I'm correct, right? That's right. The grande
Sounds
chaîne?
good, yeah.
Sounds good to you. Yes. So and this comes from Louis Beaudoin and shared to us by his family. That's not how it starts. We're just fooling around.
We're all in tune.
All right, George.
Thank you.
All right. You guys like French Canadian music? Yeah? There's a lot of great music out there in all genres, and French Canadian music, because it's what we grew up with, it's really important to us, and it's very happy, positive music, and just something about it. We certainly can't sit still, so we love French Canadian music. And we're glad you guys like it as well. Yes. Another song from me. And then we have a special finishing song for you guys. Finishing tune.
Yep.
Yes. I might do this one sitting down. This is a song that, kind of funny. Just kind of disclaimer, kind of funny. Growing up, and even nowadays, around Christmas time, I think it's the whole month of December. For us here, and for any of you that are musicians, your music to you is 24/7 all year round, and it is for us. In Canada, the folk music isn't year-round for the majority of the population. It's only around Christmas time. So a lot of the music that we play, people who don't know it that well will associate it with Christmas time and the parties for Christmas and New Year's. New Year's is tremendous. It's huge up in Canada for the families to get together. And a lot of these tunes are played on the radio all throughout the month, and this is one that I grew up listening to, and I liked and I learned, and found out afterwards that my grandfather wasn't a musician, but I guess he would like to sing, and when house parties happened at his house, this is my mother's father, he actually sang this song. And then meeting up with La Famille Beaudoin, Monsieur Louis Beaudoin, Glenn's grandfather, used to sing this too. So it's a very cool connection, and it's just a very simple song, and it's called Le Rapide Blanc, which is the White Rapids. And Le Rapide Blanc is a story about, this time it's about the woman. She's living on this path that all the guys are coming through, and she happens to be the one that everybody visits, I suppose. And I don't know, it's not in the song. That's all. That's all subliminal.
Read between the lines.
Read between the lines. Maybe she has good bread, I don't know, meat pies or crepes. But it's right there. It's like the tavern that they stop at. So, first gentleman stops in and says, well, this is about a story about one gentleman that stops in. He'd like a place to warm up. So she says, oh, sure, come on in and warm up. They all come in and warm up, and then they go. And then he's all warmed up at this point, and he was looking for something else. So he says, could I hug you? Or could I kiss you? Could I embrace you? So she says, okay, they all come and kiss me and embrace me, and then they go. And then he's getting tired at this point, and he's looking for a place to lay his head. He says, they all come and lay their head, and then they go. And what else happens? That's like the whole story there. They all come, and they go. Another cliffhanger. I should work on these, In French, I guess that doesn't matter. As long as it sounds good, it's poetically written, this and that. So, le rapide blanc. Oh, and then she tells him to leave. Just leave. Just leave. I tell them all to just leave. That's what it is. So, is that D? G. You want to sing it, George?
No.
Oh, okay. Qui va frapper à la porte, wing a hand. Is that G? G. D. Qui va frapper à la porte, wing a hand. A wing a hand. La bonne femme demandait ce qu'il voulait, ce qui sautait. Oh, je voudrais, madame, je voudrais bien rentrer.
Ah ben, dis rentre donc ben gentiment, mon mari t'aurait pu bien. Puis y'a des hommes de rien qui rentrent, y'a des hommes de rien qui rentrent, ça fait rien. Y'a des hommes de rien qui rentrent, y'a des hommes de rien qui rentrent, ça fait rien.
Après qu'il a rentré à Wingahan, la bonne femme demandait ce qu'il voulait, ce qu'il souhaitait. Oh, je voudrais, madame, je voudrais bien me chauffer.
Ah ben, dis chauffe donc ben gentiment, mon mari t'aurait pu bien. Puis y'a des hommes de rien qui chauffent, y'a des hommes de rien qui chauffent, ça fait rien. Y'a des hommes de rien qui chauffent, y'a des hommes de rien qui chauffent, ça fait rien.
Après qu'il s'est chauffé à Wingahan, la bonne femme demandait ce qu'il voulait, ce qu'il souhaitait. Oh, je voudrais, madame, voudrais bien vous embrasser.
Ah ben, dis embrasse-donc mais gentiment, mon mari t'aura pis blanc. Pis y'a des Américains qui m'abrassent, y'a des Américains qui m'abrassent, ça fait rien. Y'a des Américains qui m'abrassent, y'a des Américains qui m'abrassent, ça fait rien. Après qu'il lui a embrassé, ah wing a hand, ah wing a hand. La bonne femme demandait ce qu'il voulait, ce qu'il souhaitait. Oh, je voudrais madame, je voudrais bien me coucher. Ah ben, elle dit couche donc gentiment, mon mari t'aura pis blanc. Pis y'a des Américains qui se couchent, y'a des Américains qui se couchent, ça fait rien. Y'a des Américains qui se couchent, y'a des Américains qui se couchent, ça fait rien. Après qu'il s'est couché, ah wing a hand, ah wing a hand. La bonne femme demandait ce qu'il voulait, ce qu'il souhaitait. Oh, je voudrais madame, je voudrais bien m'en aller. Ah ben, elle dit ça fait ton camp, mon mari t'aura pis blanc. Pis y'a des Américains qui savent, oh, y'a des Américains qui savent, qui revient. Y'a des Américains qui savent, oh, y'a des Américains qui savent, qui font rien. Ah wing a hand. It's a tongue twister.
For the next time, I'll work on getting these guys to sing with me. See?
Good luck.
It's very easy to hide behind your instrument, and it's very nerve-wracking to actually share your voice with others. See? And when you have a carbon fiber, you hide in the shadows. Huh? All right. This is actually going to be our last number.
Our last hurrah.
Our last hurrah. And we've been glad that you guys have stuck around and come out today and given us your time to come and listen to us. I hope you guys have enjoyed us. Thank you. And we certainly want to thank Lynn Williamson for making this possible and everybody else behind the scenes here. It's been a true, true honor. This last tune is, it's going to be a set of tunes. We're going to start off with one called Circular Reel, go to St. Antoine's, and then we're going to go to St. Anne's Reel, something that we've all heard growing up, and maybe we'll have a little surprise for you guys.
Yeah, so we can just call it When the Saints Go Marching Out.
This first tune is one that I had composed, and it's kind of one of my big hurrahs for me. It's actually on 2 albums, friends of mine, and it's been playing internationally for at least 2 years now, and it's playing at jam sessions up in Montreal area, and people are really crazed about it, and it's a real honor for me to, I haven't produced an album yet, but it certainly is around the corner and in my thoughts, and to have somebody interested in some of my compositions, it's quite awesome.
It's your greatest hit.
It's my greatest hit. My one-piece wonder. So here we go. All fiddles.
All fiddles. A whole bunch of them.
No strings attached. No, they're attached.
16 strings attached.
There we go. Want to count us in, George?
Sure.
And by the way, he step dances.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Big thank you. Daniel Boucher, Ray Pelletier, George Wilson, Glenn Bombardier.
Thank you very much.
One more? Yes.
Should we do all fiddles?
I can't dance again.
No?
I can't either.
What would be a good one here?
What do we all know? We didn't rehearse for an encore. We could all play 4 different tunes at once and be real efficient that
Joys
way.
of Quebec?
Oh, yeah.
Joys of Quebec.
Joyce of Quebec.
Not to be confused with Joyce from Quebec. This is Joys of Quebec. That's one of George's many
Or
jokes.
Jaws of Quebec.
He's always a trip to have around. We're gonna have a third part in it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There's gonna be a third part. These two don't know about the third part, but we play often together, and they'll know it in a couple minutes. So we'll see. Thank you very much.
Daniel Boucher and friends.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.